Okay, I tried to upload the second part of this, and I go and have an error. The thing crashed. So now I got, what, 10 minutes of video that have just got wiped out? Alright, technical issues aside, the point is this. Queen Lulukalani warned of this situation. It's right here, and I will continue reading where I left off, and then you judge for yourselves what's being said. The voters of this great and good nation are too free. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. I went too far ahead. So what did she have to say about the issues of what? That the missionary party shall continue to control all measures enacted in regard to Hawaii and the Hawaiians, and that there shall be no essential change in their greedy and deceitful policies. That they shall still coin money through the manipulation of the sugar interests and the management of the plantations and the labor question. All three legitimate issues today in this nation. She links them together. So people who only see the problem of the Federal Reserve are not seeing the other problem with illegal immigration, with an economy that's not producing jobs because we've outsourced, hello Ross Perot, everything to faraway lands. The dollar is the world reserve currency, and we know any currency is backed by what? Which is what she's saying here. It's backed by industry. It's backed by a commodity, something that somebody needs. Right now, the only thing that's holding up the dollar is the fact that the rest of the world needs it in order to trade. Because right now, our trade deficits say the United States is not producing enough here to make the dollar worthwhile based off of us alone. We want the world to back the dollar with all the stuff we ship overseas, while we return the United States to third world nation status with first world capability, which is actually cheating the economic cycle. You can't occupy both sides. You either got to be a third world nation that emerges to become a first world nation, or be a first world nation with a mature economy, and you're going to level off at a certain point, and you're not going to have the rapid growth of income and profits that marked your rise from third world to first world. Well, no, America, our big businesses, Wall Street, they're too darn greedy. They have to keep making record profits every quarter, even if it means they got to empty this country of all the jobs and all the industry that made us what we are, turn us into a third world status, send it all overseas, pay them peanuts, and then ship the stuff back to you, and then use the dollar as the world reserve currency to hold the whole thing together. And meanwhile, here at home, we don't have enough economic power to keep the dollar worth something. So now we just print it until we can get the playing field the way we want it. That's what's going on, ladies and gents. And this queen saw it. Now, this is what she had to say about this whole issue of manipulation of the sugar interest, coining the money, and the management of the plantations and the labor issues that these sugar planters of the missionary party were now using to control Hawaii. What advantage or return will the United States government ever receive from such a territorial administration as that? I can answer that question. Absolutely nothing, unless they're going to pay them under the table, which is what big business does. The President and the Secretary of State having agreed to such enactment, it only remains for the needed 2/3 of the Senate to ratify it to make it the law of the land. The voters of this great and good nation are too free from suspicion. Sounds familiar, guys? They have no idea how they have been deceived, how much more they can be deceived. The poor Hawaiians, strangers on their native soil, excluded from their own halls of legislation, have had their experience, alas, a bitter one. The Japanese, urged and inveigled and bought to come to Hawaii while they were needed to increase the foreigners' gold as immigrant, have had theirs. But, let me show you what she had to say about us. I don't know, is it coming through there? The American people, right there at the bottom. But the American people have theirs yet to get. Right there. On the bottom. Last couple of lines. And if you want to see if all the other stuff I said is true, there it is for you. Only problem is it's trying to line the page up. So, I'm not trying to give you guys a headache trying to read this. The problem here is this, guys. We are way behind these people. They have been doing this for centuries. You don't even want me to go to the time of the founders and show how many of them were hypocrites to the very things they said. They said what was popular to the people, to get the people on board, but once the dust settled, they went to the same behavior patterns of their British compatriots they broke away from, because they didn't realize you were trained in Britain to operate the way you were. You're going to do the same things they did. And of course, we don't teach our history that many of our founders weren't particularly popular with the common folk here before the revolution, before political speeches and all sorts of oratory gave way to give people hope, and they began to listen to these men, and the end result is we got a country that was in contradiction to its own values, and we've grown complacent in accepting that. Well, not this guy. I'll tell you what, I will put a link up to this video to a website. I am currently working on a movie. I've got the first episode done. Matter of fact, I got the first 8 episodes done as a docudrama. It's going to basically show, using the power of art, what would happen if someone arose that had the actual ability to fight the system using the system, to adhere to principles that we like to ascribe to our nation, but our nation never really seems to get around to following. You want to know why? Well, many of you may not be Christian, but I am. And understanding the Bible in economic terms, one thing becomes patently clear that God is very well against. It's not that he's against the wealthy. What he's against is wealthy people who are selfish. Wealthy people who manipulate things to gain wealth while the rest are in lack and in need. And he cites this all through the Bible. Matter of fact, he cites this even in that end book of Revelations, where we have that one world system, which a lot of people like to call the New World Order, that we're all moving to. And since that system is coming, thanks to said wealthy people and high places who seem to be immune to certain legal documents like the Constitution and everything, I think it would be good to make a movie series to give people some sort of idea of what we can do to prepare, and what would happen if the government had to deal with somebody who had the means to upend their little scheme, even for a little while. And she will also, this person, a woman, will also bring to light things like this in putting the establishment on trial, and various other books that I don't have time to show here unless this video runs out, that show that there have been people all during our history. By the way, that was done in 1893, okay, when the Queen of Hawaii said this. And you know she wound up losing. That's why Hawaii is our 50th state. She wound up being tried and convicted in a mock trial. It was all set up. They got her out of the way. The United States wound up taking possession of the islands, and in 1959, the islands went from being a territory to the 50th state. Many Hawaiians, true-blood Hawaiians, reject that and want their kingdom returned to them, and I don't blame them. Okay? But of course, we'll never do that. We're the United States. That's for countries like Russia and all those open dictatorships who steal people's lands blatantly. No, we're too refined for that. Well, you know what? I will put the link up to this movie website. It's on Juntobox. It's an indie site. You can best believe no studio is going to touch this with a 10-foot pole lest they make those hidden entities and the government mad. I particularly don't care. Okay? People like us who are protesting the system really don't care about stuff like the government. Otherwise, we wouldn't be posting things like this. The government wants to make us insurrectionists, like we want to crush them and we're anti-American. No, that has nothing to do. We're holding you accountable for what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not. That's all we're doing. But such is the case. I will put it up to the website, the address. Go there, check it out, sign up on Juntobox. It's a social website like Facebook. It's totally free. Rate and follow my project, The Last Saints. That's what it's called. The more people who get behind it, the further up in rankings it will be advanced, and the greater the chance the people on Juntobox, being the funders, will see that there's enough support and enough demand for something like this, for social change and awareness, that they will come and say to me, Mr. Counsel, we'll fund you. Just tell us what we need to do. I thank you for your time and look forward to responding to many more videos.